My corporate chica. Today it's all about you. I've got your back. Come. Sit down. Go get your drink. Sit down and let us have this conversation. We are talking about how you are such a boss babe. At work, you figure things out. There's no one like you. You excel like never before. You are the one. You are first, only, different and amazing. You're fodder or you're not. Either way, you are able to just get things done. Now, when it comes to your love life, it's a different kind of story. You've dated, you've done things, you've tried, but nothing really seems to stick. I've been there. That story of my life, to the extent that I wrote a book. literally wrote a book. Date Like Cleopatra, The Good Girl Flips the Script by me, Shiro Ndune. So, what we're talking about here is the book actually touches a lot on this, but I want to give you a different perspective. Because if, like me, you've been wondering, what the hell are you getting wrong? Why aren't things working out? Because you're intelligent, first of all. You're an intelligent girl. You look at the world and you see how things work, and you understand. You know how to play the corporate game. The corporate game you're very good at playing. You understand that sometimes you need to behave in a certain way, that in order to get what you want, you need to position yourself differently at different times. And you're quite fine with that. You know how to play that game, that's something that you have well sorted out. But now, and to how do I want to emphasize that a little bit, that it is a game. The corporate workspace is a game. You have to, especially as a woman, and whether or not you like me saying this, you know it's true if you're excelling in the workplace and you're a girl. You need to understand that sometimes there's certain, especially men, who need you to show up in a certain way. You will need to maybe cool down your temper, raise up your temper. You will need to maneuver around people. You will need to throw certain people under the bus sometimes. Well, not necessarily willingly, but sometimes there are things that you need to do that are a little more cutthroat than just being normal. Just letting things be fair, letting things lie where they will lie. Because sometimes there are people who are out to get you, stab you in the back. So you need to know how to do that dance and how to move yourself around to make sure that you're not the one that's stabbed. And if someone else gets stabbed in the process, that is just the way life is. I know I'm painting such a dramatic image of the workspace. But you know this. I'm sure I'm not telling you anything new. You need to play games. So, yet in your love life, you don't think that the same thing applies. You think, no. That is for there. In my love life, I am an adult. We are both adults. So let's give him a name. Craig. I don't know why the name Craig has been on my mind. So Craig, you met Craig. Craig is this wonderful guy. You're on a dating app and you swiped and you had a couple of dates and things were going really, really good. He's an intelligent guy. He really, really seems to fit within the boxes of what you want. He's emotionally available, just a really sharp kind of guy. And you can see that this guy might be the one. He might be the one to take you into the future. Sips water. So what do you do? So, because you don't play games, you are an adult. In fact, you're older. I was going to say old. Oh my God, we are not old. Either way, that's another conversation for another day. But let's say you're over 30. You're over 35. You're in your 40s, whatever the case may be. Or not even that, you're even in your 20s, whatever the case may be. But listen to this. So you know that you do not want to play games with him. You have just straight conversations. You're trying to understand whether or not that's someone that can be long-term for you. And so far, he's been saying all the right things and just checking all the right boxes. Things are working out. Things are going great. And because you're an adult and it's been some time, you're eager to jump into bed with him. And you're not, is the word precautious? What's the word? You're not this person who just throws things around. You're deliberate. You think about this. You take a bit of time, And yes, you get into bed with him and it's amazing. The sparks are flying. This is just like the best thing that has ever happened for you. Then, because you're not wanting to play games, you become a little more, you want to chat with him. You really want to spend time with him because he's such a great guy. Then you notice that he's less available somehow. He seems to be pulling back. You don't notice it immediately, but there'll be a couple of things he'll do. Maybe you're meant to meet up on a certain day, then he doesn't show up, or sends you like a very late apology, and you're like, oh, it's okay, sweetheart. Oh, babe, it's fine. We'll do it again next time. Then something else happens. Maybe one day he asks if he can come to your place very late, and you weren't doing anything anyway, and you're like, yeah, of course, come over. And then he doesn't even come. Or it doesn't even have to be that blatant. It can be just little small things. He's just less available. You used to talk more often. Now the conversations are not as long. He doesn't look for you as much. And you're wondering, what the hell happened? So, because you don't want this to end, and I mean, you're adults, why should you be playing games? So what you do is that you double your efforts. You lean in a little more. If he doesn't text you, it's okay. Then you'll be the one texting him. The good mornings you used to send are no longer there. Now you're the one, in the afternoon looking for him to say hi. Thursday, you don't know whether or not you'll be meeting over the weekend, so you're the one, trying to make hints. And maybe you're not so bad. Maybe you're not really overly in his space. But when he's not gotten in touch with you on Thursday, because you have a firm rule, you cannot go on a weekend date if it has not been planned before Thursday. So then you're brooding. You're just there hanging around with your friends, or just hanging alone at home watching sad movies and feeling sorry for yourself because you're thinking, no, why does this always happen to you? Why isn't this materializing? Well, why isn't this blossoming into the thing that you wanted it to be? Then maybe it's his birthday, you send him gifts, or, you try to do amazing things for him. You get him an amazing, you throw him a party even. So leaning in, you're the one who's really there, and he's the one who's leaning back. He's not there as much. And before you know it, the thing fizzles out. Did I have another example? Mothering, yes. You're mothering him. You just have so much energy and so much attention. You're just sending him little notes. Oh my God, I did this one. Let me just come out. There's a time this guy we had a thing, and then I went around his place just dropping little love notes just to tell him how I was thinking. It was long distance, just to tell him how I was thinking about him before I left, and then he'd just find them when he went from room to room. And interestingly, the day I dropped those notes was the day, not so much the day we broke up, but it was the last time I saw him actually, because something then happened after that, and then it just blew up, and then I broke up with him. But think of that. At the point when I was writing the notes, I was thinking, this is so cute, just kept hiding them in little places. So after that, I was just thinking to myself, oh my God, we've broken up, and this guy keeps finding random notes. Every so often telling him that I love him, or that he's so cute, or that we have lived life. So, come. Let me tell you what is going on. Because that relationship doesn't work, yeah? I just have a couple of notes, but I wanted to put it all in my head. When you use the rule... Yeah, so what you're doing is that you have been so much in your masculine energy. So in the workspace, that's what you are. You're in your masculine energy. You're the one who does things. You get things done. You chase after the results. You're leaning in. You're the one who's in charge of making things move. And that's your mind space. Then you take that mind space into your relationship. But in the relationship, the dynamics are different. There's the masculine and there's the feminine. He is the one who's meant to be leaning in. And then if he is leaning in, that means that you need to be leaning back. You can't both be leaning towards each other, or you'll just be knocking heads. Yeah? And it's that kind of thing. The person who is leaning in makes the other one lean back. So if you're leaning into the relationship and the one who's really, really getting things done, he has no option but to lean back. That's why he's then suddenly giving you space. That's why he's not as engaged. That's why he's not answering your phones or your texts, or even just looking for you, or as interested as he was initially. Then you might think that all men are terrible, they just lead you on. But let's get a little more into that and look at what actually happened. It was the aggressiveness of your pursuit. It doesn't seem so at the time, but when you get intimate early on, actually at whatever point, the thing with intimacy is that it hijacks it hijacks your thinking brain. Your body now starts thinking, for better or for worse, this woman has decided that this is the man who we are going to be having children with. So all those red flags that you used to be showing, remove them. You red flag center switched off. Suddenly it is, oh, cuddling center switched on. Oh, there is nothing wrong with him, switched on. Blinders, this is the most perfect person ever. So if you've ever found yourself in a situation where after the fact you are looking at the relationship and asking yourself, how the hell was I in that? What happened? That could be one of the keys, because your body is trying to support your decision. Bad decision, but your decision all the same, because then you're the one who's acted. Then all of us have to come into it together. So there are these faculties within you that are being switched off, and you don't notice the things that he's doing which are wrong. And they might have been there all along, but because of the intimacy, that's what's happening in your brain. Okay. You don't play games. I like that one, because that's what I always used to say. I don't play games. I'm an adult. The thing with the world, and this is a serious point. It's a philosophical point. The thing with the world is that the world is set up in a way that is for the man. It sounds really, really bad, but that's the truth. We live in a patriarchal society. That means that everything has been set up for the man, including you. I'm sorry to tell you, if you did not know this consciously. You have been trained all your life from the moment, and even before, I was going to say from the moment you were born, but maybe even before that, when you were listening to what was going on in the wild while you were in your mother's tummy. I was thinking about this yesterday. Then I was thinking that you were probably born by a male doctor, possibly in an institution, in a hospital that has the name of a male patron or even a male patron saint. So that was already the context that existed at the point you were born. The president was male, so that there's that already. Then when you just start listening to things, everything around you is pushing you in the direction of men being superior to women. Look at the words we use: male, female. The female is within the male, man, woman. The woman is of man. There are so many examples of words. The other day I went into ChatGPT and asked it to give me examples of these things. So there were the ones which are of course male, female, as in businessman and what. Okay, fine. There are a couple of others. And then the point was that there are even those ones that don't have man in the title and just have it in the connotation of how they've been used. Like I've given the example of doctor. Many times when someone speaks of a doctor, the image that forms in your mind is of a male doctor, because this is just what we have been taught, whether you like it or not. It's a thing that you've been taught to expect. It is there within your system, and you need to be able to see it, address it, and pluck it out. So this is not that conversation today. But the point is that you already have this inbuilt patriarchy within you. You already have a view of yourself as a woman as being less than. Yeah. In the workplace, you use that to your advantage. You are able to smile when it needs it. You're able to maneuver your environment in a way that works for you. And it is, you are within the corporate space, and you are within the patriarchal space, and you understand it at some level, which is why you're excelling. But you believe that in the romantic space, things are meant to be different. And I truly agree with you. But the point is, they are not. This man, Craig, that you are dating, has also been raised within patriarchy. And whether he likes it or not, the reality is that he also just has these notions within his head. Everyone has. It's inescapable. Ooh. Excuse me. It's inescapable. So now, with that huge groundwork, the question is, what to do? How do you take the reality of patriarchy into account while dating? And the solution is getting into your feminine energy. So remember when we said that you're going to be at loggerheads? If both the man and the woman are taking the masculine energy role, there's going to be a conflict. If you're very strong in it, which often happens if you are a corporate girly, that intelligent girl, then you are going to be the one who's leaning forward, and then he has to lean back. He takes the space of receiving. That's why nowadays we have so many guys who are very happy to be kept. Yeah. And to some extent, we'll have women who think that it's okay, but to some extent, they get a little unhappy at some point. Why? Because of patriarchy as well. You've been conditioned to some extent to expect different things in society. And part of what you're expecting is, well, I think at the very least, is that you shouldn't be in a situation when you're overextending. You are the one working, you are the one providing money, you are the one mothering, you are the one doing, you're doing everything. You're the one providing the children. What does he do? Then that becomes a question of what is the point? What is he there for? So to avoid this, and I know this is really difficult for the intelligent girls, the corporate intelligent girls. Why? Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's not, in fact, it's not fair. It's not fair. But what I want to tell you is, at some level, you do this within the corporate space. So let us do this within relationships. I'll give you a few pointers of things to do, and then you can look at them and see if they're that terrible. If what I'm asking of you is so much that you would rather, go on roughing it, or give it a try. And they are super, super simple. No, they're not simple. Let me not put it that way. If you have to change your mindset, it is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable and it is challenging to you. And you're going to need to do the inner work. Inner work is these activities where you change the way that you believe. It's rewiring your mind, really. It's doing activities that are internal to you and help you become the kind of person that you want to be. Let me not leave it that abstract. Let's get into them. So here we're talking about how to activate more of your feminine energy. And the reason that some of these things might sound strange, or even the very notion of activating your feminine energy might sound strange, is because it's not something, again, that we're taught in school. And it's not something that we often think about. We live in a world that expects everyone to be in their masculine energy, to be doing. And we don't spend enough time in the being energy, just being. Yeah? So, the first one I have here is let go of control. Hey, letting go of control. That one is challenging. But you know what the inner work is? The inner work is being in a situation where you consciously tell yourself, here, I am stepping back. I am not going to be in control. Let me tell you something that I did recently. Because for me, these things, it's a practice. You just keep doing it over time. And the more you do it, the more you become more comfortable in the space. In fact, the first time you do it is probably the most uncomfortable time. Then you come to realize that this is actually something that you can actually do. So the other day I was taking Swedish speaking classes, in something called the language gym. So they put you in groups and then you have conversations with others, with a team of maybe 3 or 4 people. So what was happening was, the very first time I got into one, I got into this group and no one was speaking. I am the kind of person who has the habit of taking charge. I'd be the kind of person who'd get in and then start giving people things to do and stuff like that. But in this room, you're only allowed to speak Swedish. My Swedish wasn't that progressed. So then I decided to lean back. I just leaned back. And I realized that I hadn't been consciously aware of always being the person stepping forward and organizing everybody. Then in this leaning back, I realized that this was beautiful, because then I could let other people, someone would invariably wake up and start speaking and start organizing the other people. There were other me's within the group, and some people really liked it, and some of them were all the same. Then when the silence grew for too long, then someone had to step in and start it up. But then I found that revealing for me, because then that's a situation of leaning back. So let go of control. We are so much minded of figuring out where everything will happen, every I don't know what fraction of a second, how everything is going to happen. We do not let things go to chance. And especially for you, my corporate minded girly, it's just not something that you're used to. You're used to being in control. Everything must work as per your schedule. And it's not necessarily bad, especially at work. I guess that's a plus. But within your life, how about just letting things go? Having an afternoon where you haven't planned anything to do. Just let the afternoon come. It's a Saturday, a whole Saturday actually, forget the afternoon, a whole Saturday without plans. Just let it be. Then you might decide to wake up and go to the museum, and that's okay. Okay. Release expectations. Let people show up as they are and take note of how they do show up. So this one I'll tie in with the next one, which has to do with putting all your eggs in the basket of Craig. So you met Craig and then you decided, aha, this is flesh of my flesh and bone of my bone. What? Whatever that saying is. So you've decided, finally, this used to happen to me a lot of the time because I got tired of dating. Then you're thinking that you just want to meet the person who is the person, and then you shall put this game aside. And in fact, that for me is what really, really put me into the leaning forward, because then he's the one. Then I don't have to do anything else with anyone else in terms of dating, and I can stop all this hassle and trouble that I've been having over time. And no, I mean, the problem with that is that you're playing it up in your head. You're not actually living. You're not watching what he's doing. You're not there. You miss the signs of the way that he actually is. And this could actually be true even in like a love bombing situation, because when you're being love bombed, it's so much that's coming in at once, and you're so happy that this is working out so well that you also become blind to the warning signs. You're unable to see. And this is not shade on anyone who's been I have been love bombed. I heard someone on YouTube once say that you need to ask yourself what has become so amazing about you overnight. That you should be aware when you're being love bombed. But yes, we should. But sometimes it does happen, and don't be ashamed. Don't be. If you've come out on the other side of it, no matter how the scars were, you needed to learn something, and you've hopefully learned it from that experience. The other thing I wanted to say on this is that people do not come to fill voids in our hearts. If that was also something that I had for some time, this thinking that this person, I really need a relationship because there's something missing within me, and this person shall come and fit. He's a missing puzzle piece. And these are these things that we're taught from all these stories we watch when you're young. Prince Charming. This Prince Charming who's coming on a white horse to save you. Mstu? No. So, and that again is the effect of patriarchy. As women, we've been taught ever since childhood that we need a male figure to come and complete us. And it's very difficult to get away from that sentiment and that teaching. So whenever we feel that there's something missing, because we've been on the grind, we go to work, we go wherever it is, whatever it is you do in your day. Maybe you take care of your kids, you go to the gym, you do the grocery shopping, you're in a kind of routine. You're living that routine, and at some point you become a little disgruntled. You want more. So this thinking that, here is the guy. Here is the person who is here to fix this part of me that is incomplete. Then that makes you hold on to this guy. You have these really high expectations of Craig. And Craig, meanwhile, is just like, hey, I barely know you, you know? So, and then you stop noticing the things that he's doing that you would otherwise not want. So your boundaries, there's the boundaries and there's your standards. In fact, that's the word I was looking for. Hopefully, if he crosses your boundaries, that's something that would at least flash something within you. But then you start changing your standards. You didn't want someone who has young kids, but he has young kids, but then he's so nice. He's so heaven knows what. He's so, I don't know, whatever it is. And then before you know it, you are forcing yourself into a box that you didn't actually want to be in. Why? Because you believe that this is the solution for you. No, the thing is that these voids that we have within ourselves can only be healed from inside. This feeling of something missing, it often comes from experiences in childhood, things that happened. It could be traumatic events that came upon us, and we need to get back to our inner child, do that work that takes us back to that point at which we were hurt, and be able to connect with that inner child and heal ourselves from within, connect with our higher selves. It's really a beautiful experience once you connect the different pieces of yourself. So the young one, the present one, the higher one, connect them all together and realize that this whole that you have, this love that you've been longing for from anywhere else, is actually love that you have within you. You learn that the capacity for love that you have for yourself is, what's the word? And you love yourself unconditionally. You learn how to love yourself unconditionally. I was thinking of that song, Unconditionally. I will love me unconditionally. That's how I sing that song to myself. Yeah. And it's a practice. It's a practice. It is the inner work. It is figuring out how to do these things. And I have a course on my site called Finding Me. And that's actually the point of that course. Getting back into contact within ourselves and finding this missing link, this missing piece that you hope for Craig or anyone else to complete in you, fixing it within yourself. Then you don't need validation. You don't need the attention. You're not craving for other people to be looking at you. You don't need to perform. Why? Because you're already complete within yourself. Okay, so do you? That one is written with an exclamation point. Fill your time with things that make your soul sing. Oh, oh. So what happens sometimes is, like the example I gave, that you were waiting for him to fill up your time on Thursday. You didn't know whether or not he was going to take you out over the weekend. You go find things that you yourself like doing. So you have plans. Have your plans for your weekends and for whenever. And don't put your focus of time on him. So this also, you're peeling away attention from him, is something that he can feel wherever that he is. So that if you're not leaning in, crowding him and just always there and available for him, he will know this. Excuse me. He will know this. And then, he'll come looking for you on Friday to go out on Saturday. But you have plans, because you don't change your plans for him. No, because you have a life. You had a life before you met him. What would you have been doing with your Saturdays and Sundays? If it was actually taking the day off to just lounge, tell him you're not available because you're taking the day off to just lounge. And don't pretend. Actually do this. Actually have things to do. If you are going shopping on your Saturday, go shopping on your Saturday. As in, don't fill your time. Find things that you love to do. And a lot of us, unfortunately, lose track of the things that we love to do because we're busy. Our lives are not set up in a way to enable us to just be. We are not in our feminine energy. It enables us to do. So because we're doing, and then we have so many, as women especially, we have so many responsibilities around us, then we don't ever stop to think, what is it that we ourselves like doing? In my book, Date Like Cleopatra, always, the good girl flips the script, I provide activities, actual activities that you can do to... it's an exercise. It's a writing exercise that helps you reconnect with yourself and find the activities that make you happy, the things that you like to do. And I do have another podcast on that. I shall link it below. That also provides different activities. So, slow down. Ooh, I love this one. Slow down. The things that you do, you're running, you're jumping, you're doing, shh. Walk slowly. What would happen if you walked slowly? What would happen if you planned less things to do in your day and had time to achieve all these little things that you had to do? It's like, I can't remember where I was listening to. I think it was a YouTuber who said that a woman's occupation is to be occupied. And that is so, so true. It's like, I thought of it like cults. There's a time I was highly obsessed with cults. I really, really didn't want to end up in a cult. So I was really reading up on them, trying to understand how someone ends up in a cult. Because for me, it was also the thing of like a toxic situation, which I guess it is. So I was asking myself how, because I understood that a lot of people, it's not this thing that you say that I could never get into that, because it happens to normal people. So my question to myself was, how do they end up there? So I was reading up cults. And one of the things they do is, in fact, they manage language. Patriarchy. They manage language, and they give things meanings that are only for that grouping. But they also keep people busy. They deprive you of sleep, just keep you busy doing heaven knows what. They deprive you of food. So all of these things are meant to make you less in touch with your mind. You're unable to think. You don't have the time or the energy to think. So as a woman who's always occupied, you don't really get to think about whether life is okay. You don't get the time to philosophize about the state of womanhood, the state of your life, whether you enjoy it, whether you're doing things that you like to do, because you're kept busy. And if you really then took the time to dig down and understand the things that are keeping you busy and why they are keeping you busy, you might find first that there are solutions to them, and you might find that they were never your actual choice. They're just things. Your system is so used to being busy that you just find yourself doing things first in an inefficient way, perhaps, or secondly, you just find yourself doing things, living a life on autopilot. Because this is how society has been living. This is how your mothers lived, your grandmother, well, maybe not your grandmother, but this is how your contemporaries live. Everyone is doing exactly what you're doing. So you think that it's normal. You don't even think it is normal because that's the circumstance that you're in. But if that Saturday afternoon that you're taking off to do nothing, you just sit and just consider your life, you might find that there are things that occupy you unnecessarily. And freeing up this time is something that would enable you to get in touch with the things that you like to do, get in touch with yourself. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This ability to get in touch with yourself is freeing because you realize there's so much more to you. You're able to be in the moment, to be in the now, and not be worried about the future, thinking about the past. No, just here, looking at this leaf and asking yourself, wow, how beautiful. I need to show you a leaf. You're looking at the plant, you're looking at the actual leaf and looking at, the things, how the veins go through the leaf and, at that level. Because then you have time to wonder at nature. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So the next one is about survival mode. So a lot of us are in survival mode. What is survival mode? So I've just mentioned about I think there are mosquitoes here. I should have checked before I came to sit outside. So survival mode is, I was giving the example before of trauma. Something traumatic happened to you. And we say the trauma is not the thing that happened to you, but the effect that it had on you. And this could really be anything. The thing that happened and the severity of what happened isn't as important. So you don't need to compare. You don't need to say, but other people have it so rough. They've never eaten, they're at war, da-di-da-di-da. This thing that happened to me is not as important. No. Whatever it is that happened to you, because you are a divine human being, whatever happened to you that has affected you is important. And a lot of these things happen in childhood. So it could be, and of course, even later, even like a car accident is traumatic. That's something that could have happened later. But in childhood, sometimes we get frozen. If it happens when we're young, the impact of this thing continues living within us and we're not aware. So it's like, I'll give the example of, I forget his name now, but I quite like this guy. I think it's Peter Walker or something like that. He wrote the book. Oh, I'll just put it in. I'll mention it in the comments. But he talks about in his life he grew up in a very abusive home, and he never knew when the abuse would come. It could happen at any instant in time. And he talks about complex PTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And this arises in what he says, in his situation, his parents could be in a terrible mood from one moment to the other. He was always walking on eggshells. He just did not know. And so his system was always, always, always hyperventilating. I mean, hyperventilating. His system was always on guard. Yeah. So that's one extreme example. But take another example. Take an example of being bullied at school. It might not seem as such a big deal, but at the point when that is happening, that is your whole world collapsing. And I've been bullied at school. That is like your whole world collapsing because it feels, oh, my ears have even gone hot thinking about it. Wow. It feels like it's just so much. It's just such a big thing that is happening. And not hot from embarrassment, hot from the impact of it. And maybe the shame of being in a situation, because I was bullied because of my color, bullied because of being black in a white school. And the impact of that is that it's like your system starts almost shutting down. You need to, that's why they talk about the fight, flight, and freeze. So your whatever it is that you're going to do in response to this, am I going to run away? Am I going to do? So your system is actually in a state of what's the word? Readiness to react. That's when they say that this is something that's kept in your reptilian brain. So the information isn't reaching your clever brain. It stays here, and your system already knows to is activated in a certain way. Your digestive system slows down. So all these things which are non-vital are put on pause so that you can fight this situation that is in front of you. And this is what is stress. This is stress. So unfortunately, so many of us in the present day live within stress, and it's taken for granted as something normal. We're just stressed. We're stressed running to the supermarket. We're stressed running in traffic. While in traffic, we're stressed moving from point A to point B, and we think that this is normal. But what is happening is that we are almost poisoning our system, because our system is then getting so much of one thing and not enough of the other. This response has been activated and the other systems have been shut down, which is why you might find yourself having even like digestive issues or just different things happening to you because you're not working at 100%. Your system also doesn't know how to get out of it because you've been on it for so long and it has become the norm. The other thing that happens is your system becomes addicted. It becomes addicted to this feeling of stress because that is normal. You get a high when you are stressed. And so you'll find yourself even creating stressful situations. This Saturday that I've told you to create for yourself, you'll find yourself running up and down doing nonsensical things. This honestly has happened to me. There's a time I took that Saturday, then I found myself, I was cleaning, but cleaning in a way that didn't make sense. I just kept busy. And then at some point I sat down and realized, what am I doing? And then that's when it dawned on me that I am creating a situation that is in line with what my body is used to, because my body is craving this activity. The idea of just sitting down and doing nothing was wrong. It was absolutely wrong. Okay. So, what? No, I can't read my handwriting. Note. So in terms of getting out of the survival mode, I have a couple of points for you to consider. So note situations where you feel calm and safe, and do more of that. At whatever point in time is it that you feel calm and safe, even if it is when you're in bed, do more of it, because maybe you only get X number of hours of sleep a day. Strive towards your 8. Why not? Why shouldn't your body be rested? Find means and ways of clearing, because you'll come to realize, the thing that I have come to realize is that a lot of the complications that might have made me unable to sleep in terms of the things that I needed to do and therefore I couldn't get in bed on time were things I was creating myself. So then I used a plan. I have alarms. I have an alarm that goes off at 9:30 p.m. to tell me to get ready for bed. I have an alarm that goes off at 10 p.m. to tell me I should be in bed. Then I have my lights. I have automated lights that go off at 10:10 p.m., which means that by 10:10 p.m. it's lights off sleep. Granted, I don't always follow it up, but this is helping me in the process. So now I'm no longer finding myself awake at midnight asking myself, how did that happen? No, because I have put a system in place that is helping me. Yeah? Okay. Recognize the situations and times when you are triggered, and connect with your inner child to work it out. So what is the trigger? What a trigger is something that puts you in this fight and flight situation, or just awakens something in you, or makes you react. You see something and you become judgmental, or you see something and you react. Someone tells you something and you get all upset and you're going to tell them, hi, don't talk to me like so I'm thinking of Shanae. Do you remember Shanae in Martin, the sitcom? Anyway, showing our ages, but it's okay. We're in this together. So figure them out. See, whenever it is that you're feeling like reacting at something, if you can't stop yourself, just count slowly to 5 or 10. Breathe in, breathe out, and at that point maybe you can give a response, or just let the situation go. But note that in your mind, and when you have free time, ask yourself what it touched. I don't know if I give you this example. There's a time when someone told me it was just a normal social setup, and truly it wasn't that long ago. And someone was talking to me about watching TV, and I got all upset and I got all worked up. And I was telling him, I don't watch TV. I don't have time to watch TV. I run a podcast. I do this. I do that. I do that. And he was like, okay. So later I had to sit down and ask myself, what the hell was that about? Then I realized I do watch TV. And I felt guilty about watching TV. Then I had to ask myself, what's that about? What's wrong with watching TV? So I realized that there's a part of me that felt that it was, yes, a waste of time. And that actually it was that I should not watch TV at all. TV is a waste of time. So what I did is I got a compromise, because I don't actually watch that much TV, but I think I was getting into more and more of it. So then I recognized that there's a part of me that is feeling that I'm wasting the time away by just sitting in front of the TV. So I got a compromise. So I took note of the amount of TV I'm watching, took note of what I am watching on TV. Because that's the other thing. It's very important to be aware of the content you're allowing into you, because content that is not wholesome makes your vibration level, makes you less happy, but your vibration level goes with your, how to put it, low vibrations are like anger and shame, things like that, things that really drag you down. And maybe that's where they say drag you down. High vibrations are things like joy, things which are wholesome, this interest in self-actualization, finding out who you are, those things are high vibration. So if you're watching TV programs that are the other day I realized that, what are these things called, true crime is so low vibe, it's insane. And the way we have channels and channels and channels that are dedicated to just that. And then you watch one and then you watch the next. Because it's also devaluing women. This is also part of the patriarchal game. Women are less valuable. And I noticed at some point all the women who were noted were always called pretty, as if it's the fact of their beauty that has made their murder so crazy. But it also makes you feel unsafe. You feel unsafe in this world where there's so much going on, and either way. So I had to look into that. My examples are so long. Bear with me. So so I worked it out and realized that this is something. So that's how it works. That is actually inner work. I was looking for an example. That is inner work. This realization within myself that first I reacted, and that there is a message that my system is trying to give me, and then acting out on that message. So reducing the TV and noting the kind of programming that I watch has been super great for me. So, okay. That was 2. Release energy stuck in your system from unprocessed emotions. Move your body, shake, dance, run, walk. Speak up for yourself in little things. Pass me the salt. So I think those two are different. Releasing energy. Emotions are energy in motion. I read that somewhere, and I really, really like that statement. It's meant to go. When you feel something, feel it. Don't block it, feel it. Allow yourself to actually sit in whatever that feeling is. Because if you do that, they stay for less than a minute within your system. Then it just goes. And this is both positive and negative. Holding on to them blocks them within your system. It means that it's you're meant to be like a flow of energy, because you are energy. Excuse me. So to feel full love, including for yourself, your heart needs to be open. And that is enabled by the flow of energy. What I'm picturing is from the skies to the ground, to the core of the earth. So you sitting there and sitting aligned within your chakras. I don't really understand the chakras, but I like the imagery of it just passing through this line through you. And this is the energetic flow. So I get this from what's his name? I'll put his name in the contact in the contacts in the notes. Singer, Michael A. Singer. I really like his books. So if you have blockages within your system, then the energy cannot flow. So when you hold on to an emotion, this creates a blockage. And he uses the imagery of a river that is dammed. So because the water cannot flow freely because there is a dam. So there are all these stones which are blocking the path of the river. So you removing the emotions is removing the stones. And this creates a flow, this energy within you. And I see it in my mind like some beautiful golden glittering light. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So from God within you into your system, because you are divine. So you're fully connected to God. And enabling this, removing these stuck emotions within you is enabling the flow of energy within you and is making you whole and complete. Oh, I like this. I feel beautiful just thinking about it, just thinking about that flow. And so yeah, that's emotions. The blockages are formed by holding on to these emotions that you will not let go of. And some of them can be very difficult to let go of. So again, we go back to the inner child. This work that you need to do within yourself to free this inner child who still lives within you and who was hurt. The hurt that occurred to them is absolutely not your fault, but you can free them because your inner child is still within you. And how you do this is you go within yourself. You look for the place within your body where you feel, where you have a sensation. Think about it. I mean, it's some form of meditation, but which I have in my course, Finding Me. But the short form is, in silence, look for the place within you where you can feel the hurt, where you can feel just a sensation, and have a conversation with the inner child who lives there. And ask them to show you what it is that you lived through. Ask them what's going on. Ask them how they are. And tell them that you're there, you're in control, you're an adult now, you made it through. You made it through that hard situation. Let them look at you and go to them, hug them, free them. Tell them that they can move away from that situation. They no longer have to live there and they can live with you in your heart. And this freedom is again just removing all these blockages. And it's beautiful. It is beautiful. I do this within my coaching space, and I'm really glad to do this with my clients because it's so freeing is the word I'd use for it. It's so freeing to be able to do this. It's so freeing to realize that this is the child is there and it's a conversation that can be had and they can be freed. Truly beautiful. Yeah. So yes, the reason for moving is that if it's energy that's stuck within your body, the movements will shake it out. Again, think of that dam. So you're moving away the rocks. You're moving away the rocks. So dancing is such a beautiful way of doing this. Yeah? Okay. And the other one was speak up for yourself in the little things. It's just a practice. Because this is practicing putting up boundaries. Speaking for you, what do you want? You want the salt? Ask them to pass you the salt. It's okay. You can do this. And I do appreciate, especially for you, my corporate girls, that you're able to do this at work without issues. But sometimes when it comes to interpersonal relationships, it is much more difficult. You're not used to stating your case or being firm within what it is that you yourself want for yourself. You can do that for your clients, you can do that for the business, but for you've never really been taught how to do that. And it can be very liberating. I'll give you an example of something that happened today. Today I was in fact, I have two examples, but I'll give you one. Today I got a call from someone and I wasn't really sure that I wanted to speak to them because there's something that they wanted from me and it was within my, it was up to me whether to do it or not and when to do it. And so I wasn't going to answer the phone. I was going to run away and hide, which is what the previous me used to do. But then I've told myself, no, we've been growing. We are stepping up. We are not running away from people. I can use my words. I can let them know that this is not something that is working for me, and it would be okay. And we had the conversation, and in fact, it turned out very differently. And it was something that I could do very simply and had for some reason been running away from. And my higher self decided to just step in and show me how to do it in really, really like an hour or so. This is something that I have been doing for 3 months. Yes. So just that when you lean into your feminine energy, you find paths that are just easily available to you. So that's why you can concentrate more on being, because you don't really have to spend that much time doing. Yes. Okay. The next one here. Connect with the you inside who hasn't been conditioned to be anything but you. Be childlike, pure, silly, and playful. This is back to the point of being in your feminine energy. So this part of you that hadn't been taught, because there are multiple parts of you. So the part of you that came initially, your soul, your highest, the one that came initially was pure. When you were born as a child, before the hospital and everything else, you had a light. And even within your childhood, you had this certain light, and you had this self-confidence and this vision and there were things that you liked to do. You were you. But then all these other things were taught to you, and you started moving away from that person. So reconnect to that one. Reconnect more to you. And this is where you'll find the things that you love to do and the things that give you joy. And you can relax. You can relax because you do not need to be running away from anything or chasing anything. Beautiful. I'm really having a good time actually giving this one. It makes me feel alive, just beautiful and alive. Okay, and this is our last one. Ooh, connect to pleasure. Pleasure. We often don't take so much time to consider pleasure. What is pleasurable to you? Yes, the bedroom, but what else? What else? In fact, a lot of us think of pleasure in terms of sex, in terms of that kind of pleasure. But there's pleasure just in everything. There's pleasure in the texture of your own hand. Yeah? In just feeling yourself. There's pleasure in that. There's pleasure, of course, in taste. I love food. There's pleasure in the taste of different ingredients within the food. The other day, hey, let me tell you, my teeth, I'm always working on my teeth. So they gave me a certain mouthwash that was meant to work on the plaque, but it had the unintended effect of killing off my taste buds. And I was like, what the hell? And I noticed it slowly. Go figure. Because I could taste on the sides of my mouth, but then the flat of my tongue lost its sense of taste. It felt the way, if you've ever burnt your tongue in hot tea or hot coffee, it felt like that. But then I realized I haven't burnt myself, and it was taking over time. It wasn't getting better. Then how I really, really tested it is I took salt and put on my tongue, and I couldn't taste it at all, because I noticed that I was just adding. You get the point. So taste is important. These tangents I take you on. Taste is important, and for me that really helped, because I used to have the practice of not doing anything else when I eat. I've had that for quite some time, but I had forgotten, and probably that's how I didn't notice that my taste had started getting lost. My sense of taste had started getting lost. So I've gone back to it, and it's really, 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 really great. So now I don't do anything. I'm not watching TV. I'm not listening to anything. When I'm eating, it's me and my food, and I'm fully there. That's again that living in the moment. Instead of just rushing through a meal without noticing it, I love texture. So I love noticing the texture in the food, the different tastes and stuff like that. And that is it. That is, what was that point? That is connecting to pleasure. It can be through many different things. What else did I have here? Savor, tastes, feeling, sense. Don't think about it in your head, but feel it in your body. That is living. That instead of being too much in our heads, getting back into our systems and really living. My beautiful, I hope that you've enjoyed this one. Try these things out and please let me know in the comments how it goes. I really, really love hearing from you. If you want to write me, it's info@shirondune.com. My website, shirondune.com, is also available for you. But just write the comments here and let me know, first of all, if you've had a Craig in your life, how that went. And if you're going to try any of these, I highly recommend them. And it's more about getting back in touch with yourself. Once you get in touch with yourself, then relationships become much more easier for you. And even the relationships you presently have with other people become much more easier and life becomes more beautiful. You have more of the golden, beautiful, shimmering, shiny rain or glow or light falling upon you. I love you, my sweetheart. Bye-bye.